Good morning, you guys. It's Cali, and we are back with another Kon-Mari video. I'm still in the art supply category, and today we are going to deal with paints, inks, and all of my glue. And I think after that I just have clay. So stick around and I'll show you where I have everything stored before we pull it all out. Okay guys, for those of you who have been following along, you've seen this yesterday when I did markers and crayons, etc. But this is a cabinet that I have. For those of you who don't know, I live in a very small cottage, basically one room with a bedroom and a bathroom. So my space is limited. So this is where I keep my art supplies, and this bottom drawer is where we stored all of our markers and things we looked at yesterday. And then up here is what we're going to deal with today. So all of this, paints, inks, glues. I may as well do brushes too, just to finish out the category. So everything you see here, as well as, hang on one second guys, I'm trying to go slow. I also have storage over here in this small cabinet next to my dining room table. So we have paint here, and inks and stained glass paint here. Metallic paints, watercolors, rub and buff, metallic lusters, a random drawer, and this is a drawer with my heat gun and a lot of glue supplies. So all of this today we're going to deal with, guys. So give me just a minute and I'm going to pull everything out, and then I will see you in a second. Okay guys, as you can see, I've started with the acrylic paint and I've laid it all out in color order, and my little Virgo heart is very happy right now. There's a lot to go through here. I'm very blessed. So I'm going to have a hard time only because I know that, it's all going to spark joy. But there are some that are, older or whatever. I'm going to open them each up and check them out, shake them up, test them out, and see. Again, the goal here is not what we're discarding, but what we're keeping. So far I've been keeping quite a bit. So I'm going to dive in, you guys, and I'll be back to show you what we're going to keep and what we'll be letting go of, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, I've gone through everything, and you're looking at what I've decided to keep, which probably doesn't look much different from when we started, but I did go through each and every bottle, and all of this sparks joy. So I'll show you what I've decided to let go of, including some paints that I've had for over 35 years. These paints I got probably when I was about 15 as a gift, and they've just been hanging around. So this is what I've let go of. Some of them were just empty. Some of them had been watered down with water. I thanked them for their service, and they're going to go. So next I'm going to pull out everything, all the other paints I have. So watercolor paints, metallic paints, anything like that, and we're going to lay that out and get through that category next. So see you in just a second. I'm getting ready to put these paints away, you guys, and I just wanted to show you that I did clear out this whole cabinet, and we are going to get through all of this today. So I'm going to wipe it down now, dry it out, polish it up, and put the paints back, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the paints. See you in a minute. Okay, so these are the rest of my paints. not including inks or anything like that. So I'll just show you what I got, and we're going to go through the same process all over again. I have a lot of these DecoArt Elegant Finish metallic paints. I have some silk acrylic glazes. I have some very old watercolor palettes. Some of these are my grandkids. Other watercolor palettes. Watercolor tubes. I found these too. These are more acrylic paint. Here's some stained glass look, fake stained glass paint. And some leading. Some more glass stain. And these are airbrush paints. So you know the drill. I'll be back in a minute and I'll show you what we're keeping and what we're discarding. See you in a second. Okay guys, this is going pretty quick. You're looking at my Spark Joy or Keep pile. I pretty much kept a lot of everything. I got rid of a couple watercolor palettes that, these are cheap for the kids anyway, but they were just beyond gone. Kept the metallic paints, kept the silk acrylic glazes, kept most of the airbrush paint, kept most of the acrylics here, and most of the stained glass stuff. I'll show you what I'm discarding in this box here. So these were old watercolors that came, I don't know, secondhand to me, that most of them are dried up in the tubes. So yeah, we're going to let these go and thank them for their service. And I'm going to move on to inks and dyes right now, and then we're going to do brushes. So I'm going to put these away, and I'll see you back here with our inks and dyes. See you in a minute. Okay guys, so here are all my inks and sprays, homemade or otherwise. Yeah, this is before. And I don't think a lot's going to change. I'll have to check out those spray bottles and see how they go, but we'll go through everything. And yeah, including a little dragon's blood ink, which sparks a lot of joy. I'll be back in a second. Okay guys, that did not take long at all. This is our Keep pile, Spark Joy pile. I kept all those inks. The ones in the baby food jars are homemade inks made out of magic markers and alcohol, as well as those smaller bottles. I'm keeping all of my DecoArt media misters, even the purple one that has a wonky kind of a sprayer, but I cleaned it up and it seems to be okay right now. Keeping all of the Delusions ink sprays, although they're not my favorite because they're not permanent, but I still do like them. And I have one little lone Heidi Swap glitter spray. Keeping all of my Tim Holtz Distress stains. Nice to have when you need them. As well as, I just got these not too long ago, these Adirondack alcohol inks. So yeah, that sparks a lot of joy. And I'll show you what we're getting rid of. These, not one of these sprayers worked. So I got those at the Dollar Tree. I'm not too worried about replacing them. And this is an old hair dye bottle that has homemade ink in it. And I'm not happy with the way they're looking and feeling, and they just did not spark joy. So I'm going to let those go. So we'll put all these away, and I'm going to move on to brushes next, you guys. And then we'll do like adhesives, glues, and texture pastes and things like that. So I'll see you in a minute. Okay guys, I pulled all the brushes out and my painting tools, including texture tools and sponges. Here's a bag of gloves, a couple of mini water bottles, a toothbrush, some pipettes, a couple of water brushes, sponge daubers, palette knives, a multitude of brushes, old and new. And I had to laugh because I had these stored in two different containers. I had this one And then I had this glass one that I had glued galaxy stones on. Okay? And I'm like, why is this so heavy? Oh, because it's filled with marbles. And anybody who knows me knows that I just have a never-ending supply of marbles. So, had to share that with you. I'll be back in a second after we go through everything and find out what's sparking joy. See you in a minute. Okay, guys, that took me about 15 minutes, and you're looking at what I've decided to keep. So just a huge assortment, really. How many brushes can you use? But I'll just show you. And I have way more than plenty. You know, that's the joy of this process, is that you just really find out exactly what you have. As far as accessories go, keeping the sponges, keeping these two, some palette knives, water brushes, sponge daubers, pipettes, an old toothbrush, and then I have these texture tools. What I've decided to discard is what you're looking at right here. So all of these brushes, I'll let them go to spark joy to someone else. These little water containers, I'm not much of a watercolor artist at all. I've never used these. I've had them for years. I'm going to let them go. If I need to carry water with me when I paint, I'll either use a water bottle or get a new one. And this is a good palette knife, but it's heavy duty. I'm going to put this in with my tools. So I'm going to put this away. And when I'm all done with all the crafts, I'll show you how everything is stored. But next we're going to move on to adhesives and texture pastes. And might as well throw glitter in there. See you in a minute. Okay, you guys, this is all of it with the exception of my clay. So glitter, glue, and everything else that didn't have a category. And I'll just go through it quick with you guys. This is before, obviously. So just lots of sealers and gloss, decoupage, adhesives, glue, glue sticks, E6000 and Aleene's tacky glue are two things I cannot live without. Rubber cement glue. These are my glue guns. Here's a melted glue pot. Extra heat gun I use. Some heat irons. Like putty. Resin. Plaster of Paris, which is good to put in. You can make homemade gesso or add to your texture paste. All of my glitters. Embossing powder. Cream wax, extender, more glue sticks, metallic lusters and rub and buff, more glitter glues, and then in the back I have mica powders. So I'm going to go through all this and I'll show you what we're going to keep and what we're going to discard, and I'll see you back here in just a minute. Okay, guys, that didn't take long at all. You're looking at my keep pile. So those mica powders, these sealants, gloss. This is all keep. Glitters. My texture paste. Some glitter glue. Okay, so that's all keep. And then this is what I got rid of. These are over 10 years old and they're dried up and I could barely squeeze them out of the bottle. So they've served their purpose. And this little mini glue gun I'm going to give to the United Way. I believe this was my grandmother's. So for sentimental reasons I wanted to keep it, but it's just not practical. I have another one, and it's harder to find the... It's just time to let it go. So anyway, I will not throw this out, but these are going to get thrown out. So the next category and the last in my art supplies category, guys, is clay. So let me get this put away, and I'll bring out the clay, and then when I'm all done with that, I'll show you how I've put everything away. So give me just a minute. Okay, guys, before I pull out my clay, which is down in this purple toolbox here, I thought I'd show you everything put away. So first we'll check in this cabinet here. And there's all the smaller bottles of acrylic paint. And then down here is where I put my watercolor and the glazes and the metallic paints, the airbrush paints, my silk acrylic glazes. And then this drawer is all my inks and the stained glass paint and my spray misters. This is that miscellaneous drawer, so I just have a drop cloth in here, some gloves, a pair of safety goggles, the daubers, and some shrink wrap paper. And then down here is my toolbox, or drawer, and I have all the heat guns, glue guns, and I forgot to show you my airbrush. So that's down here too. Okay, and then I put the plaster of Paris and the resin and the caulking next to my toolbox up in my closet. And then in this cabinet here, which you guys saw before, I now have... Okay, so we have all acrylic paint on this side. There's my gesso, which I didn't show you before. Here's glues. And then standing up in the back, I have my Derwent Inktense blocks, my pencils, and on top there, I hope you could see okay, are the pencils as well. I've arranged the glitter. Here's the brushes. Okay. So I'm really excited, you guys. I think it looks great. And I also went through my grandchildren's box of stuff, and I, organized their coloring books and stuff and put a little crate for them too. So I'm going to pull out the clay next, and I'll see you when that's out. Okay, guys, before I take the clay out, I just wanted to show you what I store it in, and I forgot that I also had some in my Bonds lunchbox. So I'll see you back in a second when I drag it all out onto the sheet. Okay, guys, here you have it. So there's my pasta machine, some texture sheets, some molds, more molds, stamps, letter stamps or embossers. Here's some tools, texture wheels, a blade, some more cutters, rollers, stampers, wire to cut clay, sponge. These are real clay tools. So miscellaneous wooden tools. Here's a whole kit of some stainless steel tools, double-ended, which is nice. Here's my clay. And then I have some bags of various scrap clay. And there's flesh color, or peach, and then more black in the back. There's some Bacon Bond and translucent liquid Sculpey. And then I have all of these Pearl-Ex powders, which are mica powders, and I think I'm going to put those with my other mica powders. I have a tile and a couple glass boards that I like to work on. And these are all cutters. And yeah, that's it, you guys. So this isn't going to take me too long because I think I'm keeping everything. But we'll see, and I'll get back to you in just a minute. Okay, guys, I knew that I wasn't going to be getting rid of anything. This is pretty much exactly the same. I'm keeping this all. I've gone through this recently, and that's why I knew that it wasn't going to be too hard. And I also forgot to show you before my clay extruder as well. I actually have two. So, yeah, I'm just going to clean out the toolbox and wipe it down good and put everything back neatly. And I'll move the mica powders over to where the mica powders are in that other cupboard. And then I'll show you how it looks in the toolbox, and then we're going to be done with art supplies, you guys. So, see you in just a minute. Okay, guys, sorry about the lighting. I think we're about to get a thunderstorm here, but this is what I'm keeping, and I'm putting it away here. This is the top tier of the toolbox. So I put all the tools in here in this plastic case. And then I have a tile under here, and there's the liquid Sculpey and the Bacon Bond. Here's my unopened Sculpey. Here's some glaze, and then a block of black. And then I have a rolling pin here. And then this bag here is all the Pearl-Ex powders. I'm going to put them in the cabinet with the other mica powders. And then in the toolbox, I put my pasta machine. Here are the cutters. This is scrap clay, the molds, my extruder, and some texture plates, and there's the glass. And what I'm letting go of is basically just garbage. The Fonzie lunchbox I'm going to donate to the United Way. I got it at the auction. It's all rusty and, you know, it's brought me joy, but it'll bring somebody else joy. So I just have this clay. I was very disappointed to find it's hard as a rock, but honestly, I probably had it for 20 years or something, so we're going to let that go. And then a lot of this miscellaneous clay just wasn't bringing me joy. These I've had for a long time. They're cookie stamps, and they're really cool, but I'm going to release them to spark joy elsewhere. Maybe. We'll see. I think I'm going to let them go. And this I'll bring to the United Way, too. And then this is just garbage. Okay, guys, so this is all going back into the toolbox. And that's going to be it for this art supply category. The next thing on my Kon-Mari list is going to be home decor, which I'm anticipating is going to be fairly easy because anything that I use as decor is already sparking joy for me. So I can't imagine that's going to be too tough, but I might take a day break before I jump into that category. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, I would love it if you do. I make videos very frequently, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care. I hope you enjoyed. Bye-bye.